Hello and welcome to today's episode of Ask the Guitar Coach. As you can see, I have no guitar in my hands today, and there's a very good reason for that, and it has to do with the question we're going to be answering. And here is this question. How can I take advantage of the hours I do not have a guitar with me to develop my guitar and music skills? Believe it or not, this is one of my favorite subjects. It's something that I've been teaching for over 20 years, even before the technology that is available to us today makes it much easier to do so. So here are several ways that you can use the hours during the day that you cannot have your guitars with you, but you can still use them to develop your guitar playing. So the first thing I would do, practice your ear training. This used to be quite difficult. You would have to have lots of CDs with ear training exercise and stuff, but nowadays with our cell phones there are very inexpensive applications that help you develop your ear training. These applications, they keep track of your progress. They can tell you exactly what you're getting better at and what you're not getting better at, and I think it's a great idea and one of the first things you should do whenever you find yourself stuck like in a line or in a queue in the bank or in a train or in a bus for several hours or even in traffic. By all means, just take out your cell phone and try to do some ear training exercise. It's going to help very much. Method number 2. The second thing I would do is to expand your music listening, which means apart from the music you listen to anyway, the music you listen to for fun, use those hours, those dead hours, the ones that you don't have your guitar, to listen to other materials. The best thing I would suggest is to ask your coach for suggestions. So for example, if you like a specific band or a specific guitarist, then just ask him who would be something similar to it, or ask for specific suggestions of artists to listen to. I still remember when I was like 15 or 16, I asked my guitar coach to record a tape for me, and he recorded me a tape with different guitar players, and just this one tape really changed my life, because at that point I was exposed to players that I would not have been exposed otherwise. Another way to find other interesting artists to listen to is to use the Spotify's or Pandora's, if you have access to those services, recommended artists. So if you are playing specific playlists and you listen to a specific kind of music, these services will suggest similar artists to check out. Let's move on now to the third thing that you can do, and that is memorizing fretboard shapes. Now, obviously, please don't do that if you are driving a car, okay? But if you're standing in line, or if you're in a bus, or if you're in train and you have some time, I used to carry with me a few leaves of paper where I had printed specifically difficult shapes that I wanted to remember, and I would just look over them and review them and just try to memorize, to visualize the shapes and memorize the fingerings and how they fit on the guitar without a guitar. And this really helped a lot. Number 4, learning music theory. Now, if you're stuck somewhere and you want to use this time productively, you can either read a book, a theory book, although many times this is not very practical because you might be like standing up or be in the train or in the bus. If that is the case, you can watch YouTube videos or any other video-based or audio-based program that has to do with learning music theory, especially contemporary music theory. This is very useful because it will give you added skills, and these hours are added to your practice hours, to your daily practice hours. When I was studying guitar at the Musicians Institute, I would always walk around everywhere I went with a pack of flashcards. Flashcards are regular little cards like business cards that are blank on both sides, and on one side I would write out, for example, the name of the chord, and on the other side I would write the letter names of the notes included in this chord. And then I would constantly check myself to see if I have them memorized quickly. So this way, if I would see, for example, I don't know, C minor 7, I would see if I could immediately say that the notes are C, E flat, G, B flat. And this would be the same thing for all kinds of chords, all kinds of scales, and all kinds of tonalities. So flashcards are an excellent tool, and you can have them with you. They don't take too much space. They're like half a pack of cigarettes or like a cell phone, and you can carry them anywhere you go, and they're going to really help you learn these theoretical concepts, memorize notes, memorize intervals, all kinds of things. And now moving to suggestion number 5, which is something I'm a little bit almost afraid of to say, because it can create problems if you're not careful with it. So just take the warnings seriously. And what I'm going to talk about is finger exercises. In a previous video, I have given you a very good exercise to help you strengthen your left hand and to open up the fingers, something. This exercise where we open and close the fingers. And there are several other finger exercises that you can use to strengthen your fingers. Now, once again, be very careful with these things. You have to take it slow, and whenever you feel any kind of pain, just stop. When I would find myself in a place where I wouldn't have my guitar with me and I didn't have any of the other materials, I would do finger exercises. Like, for example, take my fingers and put them like that, one after the other, and then from my hand being like that, just put them like this. So, finger exercises that are going to help you create some independence on your hands and on your fingers. There's a very good book, and I think there's also a video for it, from Greg Irwin, if I'm pronouncing the name correctly, and it's called The Art of Finger Control. I would suggest you check it out. I'm very sure it's available on YouTube. Now, you have to be careful once again with that, because this is a stress on your fingers, and just make sure you don't hurt yourself. The golden rule, it's golden and very simple, and it is, if you start hurting, stop for a few seconds. Relax your hands and then start again. And if you start hurting again, then stop for the day. And let's move on to the next and final material. Now, the sixth way I would suggest you use this dead time to develop your guitar playing is by visualizing notes. That means having an actual sheet music with you, maybe the real book, and then reading the real book and trying to visualize where you would play these things on the fretboard. This is an excellent way to develop some skill with music reading, especially if you want to learn to play some jazz or similar kinds of styles on the guitar. It would be a very good idea to have at least a limited skill set in note reading. And you can use these like dead times when you don't have the guitar with you to develop a better fluency, let's say, in your reading understanding, which means your eye will be able to recognize notes more quickly. So there you have it, 6 different distinct ways to use this dead time, the time that you don't have the guitar in your hands, to develop your actual music skills and even to guitar playing. Most of these can be used for several hours during the day. There is no limit, with the possible exception of the finger exercises that you should always be a little bit careful that you don't hurt yourself. So thanks for listening, I hope this helps, and I will see you on the next episode of Ask the Guitar Coach.